Welcome to Columbus Brick by Brick, the podcast where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping Columbus, Ohio, where every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it. I'm your host, Jon Styer, broker and owner of Styer Hospitality Co., Columbus's premier management company for furnished short and midterm rentals, helping investors leverage their properties to maximize cash flow and housing guests for both short and extended furnished stays. Here on the show, we sit down each week with local leaders, entrepreneurs, and real estate professionals to explore what it really takes to build a lasting business with meaningful impact in our city. And on today's episode, I'm lucky to be joined by Justin Bruce, a Columbus-based realtor with Real of Ohio. He's known for building a strong personal brand, leading with relationships, and showing up consistently, both online and in the community. Justin's journey offers a behind-the-scenes look at what it really takes to stand out in real estate beyond the highlight reel. We're going to talk about the pivotal moments that set his career in motion, the challenges and risks that shaped his growth, and how authenticity and content have translated into real trust and real business. Justin shares lessons from his toughest seasons, the role of mentorship and how it's played in his evolution, and how he thinks about opportunities, burnout, and long-term success. We'll also dig into what excites him most about the future of Columbus real estate and the legacy he hopes to leave behind. So whether you're an agent, an investor, an entrepreneur, or just someone building something of your own, this conversation is packed with insight, perspective, and practical takeaways rooted right here in Columbus. So let's get into it with Justin Bruce on Columbus Brick by Brick. Well, Justin, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have this conversation with you and learn more about you. So thank you. Welcome to Columbus Brick by Brick. Would love to start with you sharing to our listeners and followers who may not know you. How do you introduce yourself today and just a little bit of your journey and how you got to where you are?
I appreciate it. Honor to be here. Thanks for having me. I do it a little different. So kind of my blue ocean strategy, I never introduced myself as a realtor.
Okay.
And kind of that's what has set me apart we'll get into later, the TV show that I host. I'm always introducing myself. You know, I'm a father first. I'm a husband. My faith is very important. But when I introduce myself business-wise, hey, I'm a TV host of an Emmy-nominated TV show. That always piques people's interest.
Sure.
And so
you don't run into people who are TV hosts every day.
Yeah, it's pretty much the best thing I've ever done because it has opened so many doors. So.
Well, tell us about that, because I mean, I know you as a realtor, but I know you do that as well. How did that happen? Weave us a path here on how you came to be who you are today.
Sure. So I fell into real estate by accident back in 21. My wife had a chiropractic office. COVID hit. I worked for her for a little bit and then got into real estate. And quickly I realized I needed a niche. I needed to be different. So I saw a video back in 22 with Gary Vee at Inman. And I think he was like 14 or something. And he stood on stage. He said, "You need to be the digital mayor of your area." And that just resonated with me.
Yeah.
And so ADTV came along, asked me to join. And for those who don't know, ADTV is a national TV show hosted by realtors in each city. There's 1,200 agents around the country, usually 8 to 10 in a city. And I did that for 3 years. And I used that as a springboard for relationships. My entire business is built on relationships. And so I use that to be able to give something to somebody and ask for nothing in return.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
So my first episode, Columbus Crew, I got to give them an episode and it turned into a partnership.
Yeah.
And that has happened over and over and over again to where now I have my own 30-minute TV show that is branded to me. And now I'm a paid TV host. It's unbelievable if you just stick to the consistency where things can take you.
Yeah. So did you have a history in TV before, or like how did that happen? Because that's just not a normal thing that you hear about.
And it's not me. I hate being on TV. I hate being on camera. This is uncomfortable for me. But I've really grown into it.
Yeah.
But when they came to me, I just knew I had to be different. I knew that every business I've ever built, I didn't do it the way everybody else did. I wanted to do something different. That's that blue ocean strategy. Everybody's fighting over here in the red. I wanted to play a different game so I wasn't competing with people. Yeah. There was nobody doing TV here. So I was like, this could be the thing. Let's try it. And I've always failed forward. Just because I've succeeded at that, I failed at many other things that I tried to do. YouTube, podcasts, whatever. They all sucked. This one just happened to have a good platform that Craig Sewing created to where somebody is dumb and that looks like me could succeed with it, which is
that's the
incredible.
formula.
That's the formula. Yeah. But he just created an environment that allowed us to thrive by using this platform to create relationships. And then you don't have to worry about buying leads. You don't have to worry about cold calling or chasing people. I attract the business. I never have an outbound call trying to sell real estate.
Yeah.
It's always my phone ringing saying, can you list my house? Can you help me buy? And that really changes the game on a stress level because I'm never chasing business. It's always, will you come do this? I'm not really pitching for the deal.
Yeah.
Very rarely am I walking in and competing.
Sure.
They've already decided because they know who I am before I walk in the door.
Right. They've already gotten a piece of you by way of the TV show.
And the content,
yeah.
the online content, I've created a personal brand that people know who I am and they know, like, and trust me, or they don't and they don't call, but they know ahead of time what they're getting. And I don't have to sell myself when I get there.
Yeah. Love that.
It's great.
So in that journey, you said you became an agent in 2021. Was there a pivotal moment that kind of pointed you to, okay, yes, I'm on the right path?
Yeah. So 6 months in, I was on a team and that was great because I think everybody should join a team and learn things ahead of time. 6 months in, my brokerage at the time came to me and asked me to join a sports entertainment division. Never worked with an athlete, never worked with an entertainer, but I love sports. I love music. I'm like, let's try this. So I spent almost a year flying around the country, meeting with agents that worked with sports entertainment, learning how they do it, getting in rooms with people who were much bigger than me and learning and being able to humble myself to that. And between that and ADTV, that's how I built my brand of Justin Bruce, sports entertainment, TV, lifestyle. All those things came from those two things.
Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit about that, the sports entertainment and what that looks like for you? And because that's a unique thing as well.
Sure. And I think everybody should find a niche. And that was kind of just, people always ask me, where's your balance? How do you balance life? And you own a chiropractic office, you have kids in sports, you have a wife. Well, the answer is balance is bullshit. There is no such thing.
Yeah.
So what I did is I ingrained everything together. My life is my business, is the kids, is the wife. So when I'm filming a TV show with the Columbus crew, I'm bringing the kids. If I'm going to Prohibition to film an episode, I'm going to take my wife and my friends and have some bourbon. It's all become one thing.
Yeah.
And so the sports entertainment piece was something that could be fun, where my son can be in the locker room and on the field at the championship. And that's why I did it. But I got into it by leveraging relationships.
Yeah.
By giving the TV show to the crew or to the Clippers, or Black Time Moving. Chris Hess has become a dear friend who the company's owned by Gary LaVox. So then I got to know Gary, and I had a buddy in another country band. So there's just all these different ways that things intertwine to where if you just continue to give, things just start to come
back
over and over and over. And I've been so blessed that that's worked.
Yeah. I would, the TV show is one thing, but you also do a lot of online content.
I do.
And I want to get into that. One thing that I have noticed in seeing your content, because it pops up for me a lot, and I always enjoy it.
Good.
Is you do bring in your family into it, which makes it fun. It's fun content, right? It's not just, let me sit down and provide you this value. It's fun. It's interesting. And you bring your family in it, but it leads to some authenticity. What was the choice there? Was it always that way? How did you find that path?
Absolutely not. Two things I preach now in my class is authenticity and consistency. Those two things. Guess what? I sucked at both of those when I first got started. I'll never forget, and I hope he watches this. 2.5 years ago, I was doing content of like, what is an inspection? What's an appraisal? Putting on a suit and going to Miranova and getting out of the McLaren. And it wasn't me. I'm a Jordan and jogger guy. I need to just be me. But at the time, I was trying to be what I thought you had to be for a luxury realtor. Justin Phillips, good friend, came to me and he said, love your content. Stop being a douchebag. And I took a step back and I was like, oh. And so I hired a coach, and it was Tyler Mount, who has worked with some of the best brands in the world, Ryan Serhant. And we sat down and created a content calendar, a content play. And we got very strategic about what the content was going to be. Authentic, my family, me, soccer, bourbon, going on trips, literally just my life, instead of trying to create something that's forced. So if you look at my content back in 22 to now, it is so very different. It is very much more authentically me.
Yeah. And the other part of that was the consistency, which I think can be so hard for people, especially when you're doing so many things. What tools have you used to maintain the consistency?
That is the hardest part, probably. And I used to film every week, and it'll wear you out mentally, physically, emotionally. So what I did is I went to batch filming once a quarter. I only film
a quarter
4 times a year.
Wow.
People think it's crazy. I have it down now. I've done this for so long that I can film 36 videos in 4 hours if prepared. So I prepare for the whole quarter on a note on my phone. A lot of here's the secret, don't tell anybody, mostly everything is stolen. Everybody's done everything before.
Yeah.
I just put my touch on it and I change it, and I use ChatGPT and I say, hey, make this more like me. And I create 36 scripts and I put that in a note and I send it to Orange Visuals, and they are ready for that day. 4 hours, we bust out 36 videos. They're back to me. I put them in a spreadsheet, go into ChatGPT. It creates the copy for me. My assistant logs in. I do not touch it until next quarter.
Yeah.
She posts Monday, Wednesday, Friday at certain times that she thinks are the best. And that's my consistent 3-day-a-week content.
How long have you been doing that?
16 months.
Wow.
And we are just now at a point in the 15th month that we're consistently at hundreds of thousands of views. But the virality does not pay the bills. I've had videos go viral. I had one last week. It's at 5-point-some million views across platforms. I don't sell houses on that. The algorithm gives much more weight to the local engagement of content. I'd rather have 150 local people engage with my video than 2 million across the country.
Sure.
So that's never my goal. Is it cool? Is it fun? I'll be able to monetize it very soon for some money. That's great. But I want that content that resonates with people in Central Ohio and nationwide, because I do get a lot of national referrals in my sphere. But I want that local stuff to really be what resonates.
How long were you doing this before you hit the strategy that you feel is now dialed in for you?
So I went like 2 years of just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was doing content, but not strategically.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I'd try to do 5 days a week. Well, guess what? For me and my audience, 5 days a week doesn't perform. 3 days a week does. Some people 5 times a day will perform. It's just not me. Now, as my audience grows, it may have to shift, and we will watch those metrics. And these social platforms give you such great data now that you can see exactly who's doing what. The new edits platform, there's so much you can do. Most people don't want to do it. Gary Vee stood on stage at that same Inman conference where he was paid $300,000 to speak to a room of realtors. And he said, I'm going to give you guys the blueprint. Here's how you do it. Here's how you become the digital mayor. 99% of you are not going to do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
And you know what they did? They laughed. That's the problem with our industry. There's all this info here for you to just run with it.
Completely.
But you have to do it.
You have to do it. And no one is going to do it for you.
Yep.
No one's going to want it for you.
That's right.
You can get help, but you have to drive the bus.
You do. And I own other businesses, and I had to learn that nobody is ever going to care as much about your business as you.
Yep.
You know, you expect people to do what you do when you're the one reaping the benefits of being it. And then I have some people who work for me who used to own businesses that say, I want nothing to do with what you do.
Yeah.
9 to 5, clock me in, clock me out, send me my check. Great.
Right. Pros and cons.
I can never be that.
Me neither.
But also he probably has way less ulcers than I do, or and stress and hair.
Right.
we're both going through that.
Yeah. We've been going through that. No, you're absolutely right. Do you find that the online presence sometimes gets glamorized, and that there's actually some struggles behind the scenes that most people aren't seeing? And if so, what does that look like for you?
100%. Everybody sees the highlight reel. Social media is a highlight reel. Everybody, oh, Justin, you got the 2 kids, the beautiful wife, the picket fence, the 5 acres. Yes, I have a wonderful life. Nobody sees the struggles. Nobody sees the failures. Or, personally, I've gone through mental health issues, even this past year, that were a struggle that nobody ever saw. You fight those battles quietly while people think everything is perfect. I'm here to tell you, nobody is perfect. There are many of us that now get together monthly and talk about how hard it is to be a dad, a father, a business owner, a realtor, all those things at the same time. It's heavy.
Yeah.
And us as guys, I think it's even harder because we're taught to just push it down and be tough. And I've learned I have no problem talking about it now. I will talk about my struggles because there's a lot of guys out there that once I started talking about it went, shit, I'm glad you said something because I've been struggling over here and I want to talk about it.
Yeah. I love that. We had a team meeting earlier today, and one of the things that I was talking about with the agents was I've heard from so many agents in this industry that they feel isolated. You're on an island. and you're part of a bigger organization usually, but everyone is out there solo doing things on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely a struggle that we all face. And as business owners, you got no one to look up to. It's tough.
It is.
So finding ways to cope with that and having the conversations around how do I deal with that, I feel like is so important.
It is. And putting yourself in rooms with those that are doing better than you. I feel like our industry is so competitive that we want to eat our young and we want I have to be better than this person. And I don't make content for other real estate agents.
Yeah.
I don't do anything for other real estate agents.
Yeah.
I have lots of friends that are real estate agents, and I also have a target on my back because of how quickly I've grown. I'm fine with that. I used to chase 22. I was competing with everybody.
Yeah.
And you can't be better than me. And I learned very fast that was the wrong mentality. And so I'm here to say, stop that. Like, you're running your own race. Just compete with who you were yesterday, and everything will change.
And I think that when you have that collaborative mindset, when you have that abundance mindset, you do realize that there is always room at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is always space for you or whomever to be successful. There's plenty out there for all of us.
100%.
But we are so locked in, and I don't know if this is a cultural thing or it's a business thing or what, but the scarcity mindset will get you. And getting over that is tough.
It is.
Especially when you're younger, you're fresh to the business, and you're taking what you can get, and it's like you're clawing your way out. But when you can get out there and when you can have that shift, I think it really opens up things.
100%. And everybody who sees this should go buy Blue Ocean Strategy. If you haven't read it, it was one of the handful of books that changed my life.
Tell us about it.
So Blue Ocean Strategy, just quick, is the red ocean is everybody's over here doing one thing. So realtors are all putting the same just sold under contract templates up on social media. They're all chasing the same Zillow leads. That's the red ocean because there's blood in the water. I'm over here in the blue ocean doing a TV show and funny content where I'm in high heels or something stupid because I don't want to, I'm no longer competing with this. I'm in a blue ocean just floating over here by myself, but there's no more competition. I'm only competing with myself. And so you don't need a national TV show to do that. Go create a YouTube around the town and do all the businesses, or create a podcast like Brick by Brick where this sets you apart. How many other people in midterm rentals are doing a podcast? You're in the blue ocean. Everybody wants to fight over here for these same things. You can just create something new. You can either be best or you can be only. And a lot of agents find themselves in that blur in the middle.
Yeah.
Unless you're the best over here, unless you're that top couple of agents, you're fighting with everybody else. Go over here and just create something new.
Right. You're the best by default because you're the only one doing it.
There's nothing else there.
I love
That's
that.
the only way I'm going to win. I'm not
that.
smarter than anybody else. I'm not better looking. I'm going to win just by being over here by myself.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for almost 5 years now.
Yeah, pushing 5 almost.
What was the hardest year for you, and why was it the hardest, and how did things change?
It's uncomfortable to say, but last year, 2025, was by far the hardest year for me. I came out of the gates, and it's probably a little bit of luck. I started in 21 where if you could fog a mirror, you could sell a house. And I grew so quickly that my biggest struggle through 22, 23 was just keeping up because I was really good at relationships, but I wasn't great at putting the processes in place for the transaction.
Yeah.
So finally I started to leverage, and I brought in a transaction coordinator and an assistant and a team. And now I don't do anything contract to close. And that's not to say that it's a flex. It's just I'm better spent doing other things. I had to be able to hand things off. And that was hard for me. I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
So last year, business got tight. I switched brokerages. I left a paid position I had outside of a brokerage. I walked away from relationships that I had built for many, many years because it was toxic. And I was making a ton of money, but I was so unhappy. And that's the first time in my life that I realized that money couldn't buy happiness, because I always thought if I have enough money,
it'll figure itself out.
It'll get there.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I'm so blessed now that I don't have to worry, but I was chasing relationships with people who were not aligned with my values, and just because they were at the top. And so I had to realize I needed to reset and realign. And so I spent 90 days last year just figuring out at the beginning of the year, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And the new brokerage, the culture was what I wanted. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about any of that. I needed a culture shift.
Yeah.
And that's what Real gave me. And so in February or March, I moved over. And so I was behind already. I wasn't out, if you don't fill the pipeline,
Yeah.
things stop. And so for that 90 days, I was building brand and logos and websites and all of these things. So I couldn't be out doing my typical lead gen, which is relationship building. I was in the house at the desk, which I hate being.
Yeah.
I want to be out every day.
Right.
So 2025 got off to a rougher start. And although it ended, we were fine. It was still after 24. I think that was the worst thing ever could have happened to me was 2024. It was so good that it set the bar so high that I feel like I'm so far behind. Even though last year was my second best year ever, it felt like I failed.
Yeah.
And so kind of aligning expectations is a struggle of mine. And so last year was the hardest struggle.
And what is a lesson you've learned in as we go into 2026? You must have set some expectations based on your past experience. What was a lesson you learned and how are you implementing that?
The biggest lesson I've learned, this is going to sound funny, is I got to give myself a break. In 2024, I was going so hard, I never took my foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
And I had a chip on my shoulder. Somebody told me that I would never do as well as them. And just that chip all year, I was like, I knew what that person had sold in their top year. And I was like, I'm going to beat it. And I did. And I think after I got that out of my head, I kind of got to calm down and say, okay, let's build a real business here. Let's lay the foundation. Because really, I was just running.
Yeah.
Running. And there was no systems, which is hilarious because I consulted for small businesses. I built systems for my wife's chiropractic office. It runs itself. I did all these things, but I didn't implement it in my real estate business.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? So this past year, I got with an AI company. We're building out some AI systems behind the scenes. I'll be giving away some of that stuff at my speaking appearances. But there's some big things coming this year. And I've just learned to take a breath, enjoy life, spend time with the kids, and realize that the business is there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I used to answer my phone. Like we're on a podcast right now. The phone rings. It's a client. I got to take this. Everything can wait. I didn't realize that before.
Yeah. It's not life and death.
It is not. We're selling houses. I'm not doing brain surgery. Although it is the biggest investment someone's probably ever going to make. I take it very seriously, but it's a 30-day process usually. It's not going to, 3 minutes is not going to change.
Minute by minute.
Yeah. So that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah. Is there a time either in this past year where you made these big changes or prior to that you made at the time felt like a risky decision that has now turned into maybe a major breakthrough for you?
Yeah, I think the two things I can point to. One is when I started with American Dream. That was a risk. I mean, when you first start with them, you're paying to be part of it. Now I have my own show. I'm a paid TV host, but back then you're paying for the content, to do it. There's videographers involved at all, and it's a great investment. I would never, if you told me I could only do one thing this year, it'd be ADTV, hands down. But that was a risk because I was spending money and it wasn't buying Zillow leads. I wasn't buying something where I knew I had a tangible return.
Yeah.
I was taking a chance on relationship. So that was a risk. And then leaving the team and the brokerage I was with previously, it was all I ever knew.
Yeah.
6 months in, I found this group and I joined it and I worked my way up and I was at the top and then I walked away from it all. That was risky.
Yeah.
I mean, that was well over 6 figures in auxiliary income that disappeared overnight. That's a scary proposition when you're an entrepreneur.
Definitely. But it turned out. I mean, now you're solo and you're having the biggest years that you've had.
Yeah, and I bet on myself, and I'll always bet on myself. I will always find a way to figure it out, and that's what my sphere knows. Whether it's me, whether it's my team, whoever I'm mentoring, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I've learned from some of the best in the world at different businesses, and now I feel obligated to pass that on.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about relationships because this is such a relationship business. We're in a relationship industry, and I know that's how you operate your business 100%. Was it always that way for you? A lot of teams buy leads or they have a rainmaker. Tell me about what it was like when you started in this industry, because you did ramp up quickly. Was it always relationships? Did you have those relationships? Did you establish those relationships? Because it's such an integral part of success in this industry.
It is. A little bit of luck. 2021 is when a buddy of mine came to me and asked me to join his real estate team. And I had always said no to real estate. And once I did that, he said, I'll hand you all my commercial business. You can do that. And I did that for a little bit. And there was a little residential. But after I did that for a while, I realized that I was never going to grow huge just by doing that. And so I signed up for an online lead thing, and I bought the portal for whatever the company was called. I did that for a few months, and I was like, this is silly.
Yeah.
I am chasing my tail. I would rather go door to door and sell something than do this. And so I stopped that very quickly. And that's when I found the sports entertainment division and ADTV. And that was where the light kind of switched for me, where I was like, I can use relationships. And I had an unfair advantage. Our chiropractic office funded our lifestyle. A lot of agents are hungry and they got to put meat on the table.
Right.
And sometimes they will do whatever it takes to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't have, people can sense that when you're talking to them, when you're doing a transaction.
Thirsty.
I never, ever have that to where if it's a $2 million listing and it's not right, I can walk away and it's not going to change my life. Like, yes, is that a lot of money? Absolutely. It's a lot of money to anybody, but it's also not whether my kids are going to eat or not that I have to do something shady to get that deal done.
Right.
So I was a little bit of luck, a little bit of unfair advantage. But I realized really quickly that relationships were going to be the way to go.
Yeah. And I think recognizing that, hey, I might have had an advantage in this industry in this way is good and healthy, because it is very tough to build a successful business in real estate, and most agents don't. They fail. So I just want to commend you and say kudos for pointing that out, especially for someone that might be listening that sees your content or sees your show and is like, well, how did he do it? It's like, well, I had a leg up. That doesn't mean that you can't be successful too. It's just you got to find your leg up.
You do. And I think it's unfair when you see people sell these courses and these online things and they're like, you can be like me for $79. And then you realize that they were a trust fund baby, or they had, like, that's not fair. I want people to know, here's what I had. Have I been through hell and back? Yeah. Sometime we'll get into that story. There's been a lot of trauma and things that I've dealt with, but I fought through and I did have that advantage. But guess what? That advantage was brought because my wife and I bust our asses for 8 years to build this business. And that's back to your initial question. The reason why my relationship business was so good is when we opened her practice, there were like 10 patients the first week. So you know what we did? We went and walked around downtown and volunteered and went and met every business owner and did Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Children's Museum and Destination Downtown Lancaster and all these things to where people knew the Bruces are the ones that will always give back to this community. So when I got my real estate license, guess what people wanted to do? They want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
We had already earned that. So although I had a leg up by having the income from that business, we built that business.
Yeah. So fair. Great point too. Like, you did not just start on third base.
Yeah.
You just hit a triple a while ago.
A long time ago.
Or you hit a single
and then a double.
Yeah. So that's a great point. And you leveraged that more so than had an advantage.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the biggest hack, if anybody's watching this, is to have a spouse that supports you and is aligned with what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell that either of us could do this without the other. And that is the God honest truth, that is the biggest hack, is to find somebody who can run that race with you. There's no way that I would be able to handle this without her.
And I mean, it does shine through in your content. I mean, she's in your content.
On purpose.
Was it always that way, or did you have to prove it?
No, I mean, early on, I thought I had to be the guy. You know, I built a team of 9 and I failed 7 of those people. I will take full responsibility. I wasn't ready for a team. I hadn't figured out who I was yet. I hadn't figured out my business. And I'm trying to tell other people how to do things because that's what I thought you're supposed to do to be successful. I realized that's not right. And, you know, one of those team members is still with me, and God love him for putting up with it. And, but now he's very successful because he stuck through and saw the end game of where I was headed. But I had to tear it down and really start over because I was not ready for that.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about merging the conversation of your content and relationships. Mainly, I'm interested, like, what does that look like for you? Someone sees your content and all of a sudden they reach out to you because they want you to list their home or they want to work with you. Talk me through that.
So a lot of people who do content will get messages on Instagram. Hey, saw your content. Why don't you come list my home, buy a home, whatever. Rarely do I get somebody that says, saw your video, come list my house. Everybody thinks that's how I turn this into business. It's not. My entire business is built on staying top of mind. I got a call this week. Company who I had came out and checked to do a pool for me. I've known them for years, since before we started the chiropractic office. We've never done business together. They didn't do my pool, but they're getting ready to sell their house in the spring. And I saw them post on Facebook, hey, we're going to sell our house in the spring, blah, blah, blah. I didn't reach out, didn't do anything, because you know what happens. You post it on Facebook, you have 30 realtors.
Oh, of course.
Boom, 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 boom. I got an Instagram message. Hey, can you come talk to us? Because I was top of mind, A, but B, I was an authority in the industry. They know a bunch of realtors, but they respect my opinion and how I do things, how I carry myself, how I handle my clients, the reviews that they see. All that is so important for the relationships. And I try to make my content be tied to that. My content's never, look at me, look at me, look at me, Justin's the best. And that's what ADTV gives me. It gives me a platform to do things for other people without ever saying, I'm the greatest realtor. But when people ask, why does Justin do this TV show? You know what other people tell him? Because he sells a shit ton of real estate. So it's such a Trojan horse strategy for that. And my content is very Trojan horse too. I'm doing content about my kids and bourbon and soccer and all these things, but people relate to that. I've already built that they know what I do for a living. You know what I mean? So like, I know what these other people do for a living, and I know who to call for things. That's what I've built, is they know Justin's a realtor, but he also is fun. And he's always at these games with these guys, or he's with his kids. I have kids and I want to relate to that. So a lot of my business is done with people who are like me.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point now where I can actually walk away from business that is not aligned with my values. And when you get to that point, that's a really big piece for your stress.
Yeah. It's a powerful place to be in. And I know that in my life, like, I can feel confident that, hey, if I'm not feeling good about a relationship, I don't need that relationship.
100%.
And especially when you start out, you can't, that's not always the case.
No.
But getting to that point is, it just, again, it has so much power.
Sure.
It has so much power. I want to know about, we talked a little bit about your content strategy and how you record everything once a quarter, which is crazy. What are some other personal habits that you implement, or some influences that you've developed?
Yeah. So when I'm doing good, which is not always, I'll tell you, I fail a lot. I get up early, and not everybody's a morning person. Ben on my team hates mornings, so he works out at lunch.
Yeah.
And so that works for him. For me, if I have to shower midday, I'm done. Forget it. So I usually, if I'm doing good, I'm up early before the kids, work out, prayer, reading, journal, whatever it is that I'm doing. When I'm doing really well, I'm doing all of those things. Life has been tough lately. So I'll be honest, I haven't been doing those things, and I see that reflect in my personal life and my business. And I will realign and get back onto it. But that morning start is such a big deal, but it starts the night before. If you write down the night before what you're going to do for the next day, it really sets the tone.
I like that.
Never done it before.
Yeah.
Once I started doing it, then it really holds you accountable.
Yeah.
People don't want to fail themselves. And so they feel like, if I write this down and then I don't do it, I failed.
Yeah.
No, it just moves to the next thing in the next day or whatever it needs to do. But it's showing me, it's kind of a scorecard of where I'm at. And that allows me to align what I'm going to do next. And so that was the biggest thing for me, is getting up and moving, eating right, being healthy. You know, this business is very hard to be healthy, eat right, the drinking, the events. Agent relationships are important. Affiliate relationships are important, but 5 day a week out drinking in the evenings is not aligned with what I want to do with my business.
Yeah.
So just figuring out what that looked like for me. And now I've found a good rhythm of what do I need to do in the mornings that allows me to get through my day, and then also get home and be able to coach basketball or be at soccer games, gymnastics. That's what's worked.
That's cool. I really like that idea of writing down what you're going to do the night before. What do you do? Just take 5 minutes in bed, or how do you do that?
Just a piece of paper. I mean, literally, I have notebooks that I've gotten from the crew and stuff, and you just write down a few things of, last night I knew today the things that needed to happen in order for me to get back for 5:30 basketball. So it was, go film the podcast, go meet with this person for the TV show, lunch here, come to you, phone call with Craig, and then basketball at 5:30. Yeah. And now I know as I check these off, and then it changes. So I'll look back and be like, okay, well, this offer came in on Canal. I've got to get that done and get them the docs. I've got to get that to my assistant, and it'll show me at the end of the day, okay, here's the scorecard of what I got done. Here's what got added. Now I can prepare better for the next day.
Mm-hmm. Cool. One thing I always like to talk about on the podcast is mentorship. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge proponent of finding a mentor and being a mentor. I would love to hear in your journey, either way, was there a time when you had mentorship that really changed things for you, or do you practice mentoring anybody now?
Yeah, so I've had a handful of different people who are mentors. Some have come and gone, and to this day, Craig Sewing, CEO of ADTV, is probably the best example right now, just watching how he has built his media company and how he gives his cell phone number to every agent with ADTV. That's 1,200 agents.
Yeah.
Not everybody plugs into it, but if I text him, he responds, and he's become a friend, and not only a friend, but a mentor to me of how to do things the right way with a family and building the business and helping people without cutting corners. Big deal. On the flip side, I am now at a point where I've gotten older and I've pseudo become mentors for people, even without trying, just by being in proximity. Whether it's agents on my team, whether it's friends in business, whether it's high school students. I'm on the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and my wife and I have participated in that ourselves by being actual mentors or bigs.
Yeah.
And that is such a life-changing way to give back. And that's why I love the mentorship, and why I've been doing a lot more speaking appearances lately is I feel like I cracked a little bit of a code. I don't know everything. I'm not the #1 realtor in Columbus, but I know enough that I think there's something to give to that next generation to help them have a leg up instead of eating our young.
Totally. I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit broader here and about Columbus as a market. Columbus is continuing to grow. You're a part of that growth.
Sure.
Are there any trends in the local real estate market that you're seeing or that you're excited about? And what do you think is something that agents should be aware of?
Tech. I mean, we've become a tech hub now. Although the whatever they call it now, since it's not Intel, whatever it is, has delayed, so many things have followed, from Android to all these different things. And we need to be aware of where these things are happening, what are they doing, what's coming next. And I think plugging into resources is a big deal. And, my relationship with the Ohio Chamber of Commerce really changed my business by learning from Steve Styer, the CEO, who's a dear friend, and Matt McLaren, who's the director of tourism there, and knowing what's coming and what these companies are thinking and doing, and the auxiliary that comes with it. When something like Intel comes, it's not just Intel. There are hundreds of companies that have to support something like that. And what that does to a market and how it expands, and how some of these people from Silicon Valley are used to driving an hour to work. And for us, that sounds insane.
Right. But
for them to live in Lancaster and drive to Johnstown is nothing. But for us, we're like, oh, I got to just block my whole day now.
Right.
So I think being aware of the changes, and, we're a hub for fast food trials. There's so many fast food home offices here, and the college scene here, and the young professionals. There's so many things happening in Columbus that I get excited just talking about this. The growth has been so incredible.
It has.
You just have to be able to follow these trends to know what's going on, because if you're not watching, you really can't be a fiduciary for your client, because each part of the city is different. What's happening in New Albany is not happening in Lancaster.
Right.
So to know the different things going on, you've got to be plugged in daily.
Yeah, completely. I like that tech is at the forefront, but taking it beyond that, I appreciate, because it's easy to see the tech, but to truly know it is another thing. But then beyond that, what else is happening? Because it's not just that. Right? Yeah. We were growing before the tech stuff happened as well. So I appreciate that answer. Well, I imagine in your day-to-day life and in your business, you see a lot of opportunities. How do you decide whether to say yes or no to an individual unique opportunity?
It has to align with my values. So 2024 was the year of no for me. So in 2023, I said yes to everything. You want to have coffee, you want to have lunch, you want to have happy hour, you want to go to this game, you want to fly to Nashville. I'm in. And that's kind of how I built for 2024. But it's not sustainable. And so now if it doesn't align with faith and family, then I'm probably going to say no to it. Now there's some exceptions to the rule, but it has to align with me now. I'm at the point where I built a good enough foundation that if it doesn't fit in those buckets, it's probably a no.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Well, if someone were to follow your content for a full year, let's say, what would you hope that they would understand about who you are beyond just being a realtor?
Yeah, I would hope that first thing they see is that I'm a husband and a father, because I make that very prevalent on there.
Be hard to miss it.
It would be hard. Yeah, they would probably find out that I like sports and bourbon. Those are probably my top things there. I would hope that they would see that I'm a connector and that I love to give back. You know, things like Rebel that's coming up.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no financial investment in Rebel, but man, do I want to see those guys succeed, because they're good dudes doing the right thing. They're creating a platform for people to learn without selling anything to them.
Yeah.
Those kind of things I want to be part of. And so I hope people see on my Instagram or my TikTok or whatever, they see that I am part of things that I believe in. I want to help other people, even if it doesn't further my business, because I know it will come back with karma.
Yeah, I think that being a connector is such a powerful thing, and you're helping people, right? So it's just such a win-win-win for all parties involved. And something that I, in that vein, kind of took to heart the past few years is like, I want to be a resource for everyone that I bump into. Everyone that I come across, how can I be a resource to that person? And thinking with that in the forefront of my mind has made positive changes in my life. So I'm right there with you.
And you've done it. I mean, just this past month, I don't know anybody that does midterm rentals. And I had a client who's like, hey, we're selling this house. We have nowhere to go until we build this house. What do we do? I'm like, call Jon. I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't become a resource for me. And that's kind of what I've become to. Just this morning, I got a text from a client from 2022, said, hey, who do you know that does millworking and masonry? I was still top of mind for them to be the connector.
Yeah.
He's not going to transact probably this year.
Yeah.
But sometime in the next 5, they're going to transact again. And guess what? I'm top of mind, and they're telling everybody else about me.
Yeah.
That's
completely.
the key.
Well, good for you. Speaking of 5 years, when people hear the name Justin Bruce, say 5 years from now, what do you hope it represents in Columbus real estate and the lives of people that you've worked with?
I hope it's changed a lot of people's lives. I hope there's many agents out there that say, I watched what he did, or I learned how to do things the right way. I learned how to lift other people up. I hope at that point I'm out of production and I'm just helping other agents, and I'm speaking all over the country about how to use relationships to build a legitimate business. And I hope they say he's a faithful family man with a wonderful family, and he takes care of his kids, and that comes first, because none of this matters without that. Without them, there's no point in making a bunch of money or selling any of it. Like, I can help a lot of people, but without the family.
Right.
So that's what I hope.
Love it. Well, final question as we wrap up here. If you could tell yourself one thing when you started out, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to fail.
Okay.
Go for it. Don't worry about what other people think. Here's the biggest thing I see in this industry. Agents are doing content for other agents, and they're so worried about what other agents say. Stop. Nobody cares. You're not selling to these other agents. Do content for your sphere. How can you be helpful and valuable to your sphere? And just fail. Like, I fail all the time. People don't see it because I don't typically put failures on my highlight reel, but I do. And you have to be able to just stack those failures, because every no and every failure is one step closer to making it.
Love it. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
If someone wants to connect with you, how do they do it?
Best place is probably Instagram, the Justin Bruce. It's not pretentious. It's just some weatherman in Nashville stole Justin Bruce, and he's more popular than me.
He's Justin Bruce, and you're the Justin Bruce.
I'm the Justin Bruce, yeah. But Instagram's good, or if you Google me, you'll find every way to contact me under the sun.
Perfect. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. An honor.
That wraps up another episode of Columbus Brick by Brick, where we uncover the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of our city. A huge thank you to our guests for sharing their insights and contributing to the ongoing story of Columbus. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who'd love learning more about our community. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Columbus Brick by Brick, and visit us anytime at columbusbrickbybrick.com for more episodes and updates. This is Columbus Brick by Brick, where every brick has a story, and we're here to tell it. See you next time.